By the way, are you recording presentations?
I will record everything that we do in the class. Is that a question for you?
Yeah, I'll have to talk about that later.
Okay, yeah, because we don't have to, we don't need to. Yeah, that's a good question. Any other concerns for recording? Now, you aren't being seen, you're being heard. Though.
Right, that's fine, no problem.
They still have a handle on it. I was in the last squadron I was in active duty before I came back as a chaplain. It was one of those. All the technology was, you could read it out there, but yet it was all top secret. It was sort of the funniest thing.
You're an Army chaplain?
I was Air Force chaplain.
Oh, you were Air Force
Air
chaplain?
Force chaplain. And a Navy chaplain's cup. Somebody brought this a few years ago. So, Air Force, retired Air Force.
I worked with a lot of the chaplains out there at Fort Riley.
Oh, wow. I'll bet you did. I bet you do. A
No,
lot
I
of
did.
diversity.
For my whole last 3 years of undergrad, I worked with them.
Cool. In the chapel, or you just happen to work with them in ministry?
Both.
Both. Cool.
I was on like weekends, and then during the summer, I did my internship.
First year.
Yeah, my internship with the family life counselor,
Oh, cool.
Chris Weinrich.
Don't know
Yeah.
anyone there. I used to know a couple chaplains over at Whiteman, they came over and met him, and one of the guys was taking classes here. And, I think he was a graduate.
It's a hard stuff.
I have a guy who's in our church, who's in the, he used to be in special ops. He teaches up there. He's a lieutenant colonel. Jim Hodson. But they don't go to the chapel. They go to our church.
Yeah. I
They
go
didn't
to
want to live on the post.
Liberty. Out there, Lee Summit.
Cool. Well, gentlemen, we have started recording, and everyone's here. You must be Ricky Archer.
I am.
I'm looking around. I met several people, so I got them. Good, glad to have you here. You're a pastor. Where at? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Calvary Bible Church in Bonner Springs.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Remember if you were at the IFC meetings for about 1.5 years, they were
Yeah.
trying to find one?
Yep.
Oh, they found one.
Really? Well, I had the truth there. I went out and preached there a couple of years ago, just once, and a long time before that too. So I'm glad to hear somebody came.
Yeah, I pulpit filled for about 3 months, and then took a month off, and they decided what they were going to do, and then came back and asked if I would be willing. So
cool.
Yeah.
You're willing. You're there.
Yeah.
Good. Tell us a little bit more. Family?
Yep, I've got a wife. We've been married 16 years, and then we have a 1-year-old son. So
Sleepless nights.
yeah. Actually, we woke up about 4 o'clock this morning. He has croup. We had to take him to the doctor this morning. So yeah, but normally he actually sleeps pretty well. This morning he woke up and he was not in good shape, and you could hear his cough. I mean, he sounded terrible. Yeah, but I mean, they took him to the doctor. They did a breathing treatment on him, and he's fine. So no worries there. But yeah, just one boy. Wife's name's Robin. Son's name is Phineas.
Phineas.
Yeah.
Cool. And this is you're taking Greek 1 now?
Yeah, beginning Greek.
When you
Not
say
here.
beginning, you're just taking.
I am actually.
When you say
I
beginning
have a
Greek, what does that
private
mean?
individual who he used to be a beginning Greek professor at the master's seminary. So going through Machen's book is what they use.
Okay.
So 9 weeks into the first 16 weeks.
Well, look, we're going to talk about the assignment here, and you have then. Let's negotiate. What would help you the most? This class is, we're not teaching you Greek or Hebrew. We're just not. We're going to introduce the language so that when you read a commentary, you go, I start to see, we recognize that, like you're saying. So you know where to go. And as you're reading a commentary, you can sound out the words. as you're trying, so that, recognition. So we're not gonna teach you anything beyond just that very basic, just because of the time. We don't have the time, so introductory course. But you might be doing enough where you go, as I look at the assignments, maybe I'd like to step in and stretch myself to do more than just say the alphabet the first assignment here that we have.
Yeah,
And
in
understand
Greek,
what's
I probably, do a little more,
Yeah.
not a ton.
So
But
look at them and see what would help you the
Yeah.
most. And that's really what we're all about. Okay, good. Glad to have your, you've only taken one course here. at
Yeah.
Calvary. But have you taken it at another seminary?
I've done audit
Okay.
classes with Shepherd's Theological Seminary up at North. Took them at the same time to see which one I preferred,
Good.
like in person.
Yeah,
So
well, glad to have you
Calvary,
here.
Calvary won out over
Glad
Shepherd's.
to have you here. Glad to have you here. Masashi?
Yes.
Now, is that what you go by, Masashi, or is there a nickname you go by? Or, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
Well, whatever you prefer, but Masashi is kind of correct pronunciation. Masashi.
Masashi.
Yeah.
Masashi.
Masashi.
Masashi,
Masashi.
Mhm.
Masashi.
Masashi. Huh, Masashi. Oh, okay, cool. Masashi, and your last name, Kano,
Yeah. Yes.
or how do you say it?
Kano.
Kano.
Yeah.
Kano, with a K sound, it has there. Where are you from? You said that earlier,
Yeah, I
but,
come from Japan.
oh yeah, you were saying
Yeah.
Tokyo.
Yeah, in Tokyo.
We have another student in class, and for some reason I was thinking Japan, and maybe it was you, but I don't know how I would have known that. Li Chuan Wang? Sounds Chinese, more so.
Oh, yeah, Chinese or Taiwanese.
Could be.
Yeah.
And he says he's overseas. He didn't say where he's at. He's just watching the videos. So, and I'm trying to see where's our camera here. You're gonna have an interesting look at everybody's forehead here, or the top of our heads rather. But you're watching the videos there, but Masashi, you're here. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where's home?
Yeah, I come from Japan, and for this, program, so I quit my job and come here as an international student using student visa, which doesn't allow me to work in the United States at all. So yeah, I am able to commit to this class and study Bible. So
So
yeah,
you're doing that
I'm
full time.
enjoying so far. Yeah.
How many courses are you taking at a time?
So this cycle to
Mhm.
2 classes, which is
2 at a time,
2 at a time.
to
yes.
each cycle. So it's really 4 in this semester. Is what you're doing? No.
Yeah, in this semester, I will be able to say 6 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people that have a lot of time,
So 2 each.
can get it done
yeah,
quickly.
2 each
Yeah,
cycle.
there you go.
And I brought my wife and my 1-year child.
You have a 1-year-old as well.
There we go.
Cute little thing.
Boy, girl?
It's boy.
Boy, another boy
He
here.
really slept really well.
Yeah.
Through the night, so
It's good.
it's not a sleepless night.
Yeah, that's us too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
you
been
hope.
good.
So we put him in the closet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then shut the door. Complete darkness, so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he
it's a
zones
big
out there, when he's there. That's cool. One of my sons, in fact, it was when they were in Colorado. He's in Washington now at the Pentagon. He's in the Air Force, not a chaplain, but they had a full-size poodle and put her in the closet. Same thing, close her up, because that would calm her down, So they're similar when it comes to dark. Good, glad to have you here. This is the only course, this is the second course. So you're in the first cycle of starting.
Yes.
You just started this fall,
I just said it's 4 full, I mean.
Yeah. We all took-
From the second, cycle.
Yeah, we were in class last semester.
That's
or
very
last
nice.
quarter.
cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's.
Well, glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. And you're going to finish, and I forgot to ask, Ricky, you're doing the MABT to the MDiv or just the MABT?
Just the MABT, yeah,
MABT.
just for now.
to start out with. See what you
Mhm.
got. And they, as you know, they all build.
Yeah.
And the same thing, the MABT? Are you gonna go beyond that, or is that
I think I will finish in at maybe two.
just the MABT, and you go back? And I forgot to ask, you're a pastor of a church there in Bonner Springs, and what do you envision doing with the degree?
Envision,
Mhm.
which is future plan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
I'm not totally sure, but yeah, I'm doing, Bible learning.
You want to get theological training?
Yes.
Good, cool. Are you, just the MABT, you're not gonna do any of the languages then?
No,
No, okay,
yeah,
that's all right, that's all right.
English is difficult.
You know what, going from like,
It's difficult for me.
maybe one from like Japanese to like Aramaic might be actually pretty easy.
Really?
Because your characters, because you're still using characters.
Hmm.
Hebrew too, I mean.
Well, cool, well, glad you're here, glad you're here. Sean, and
Yes, sir.
Sean Windus,
Wines.
Wines. What,
It's okay,
We
sir.
did it the last class too, it's like, yeah, no one gets it right.
I answer it to anything.
Wines.
I prefer Sean.
You introduce yourself, you didn't. Okay, where are you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm actually from here, 25 years active duty. Military, I've been from,
So you retired Army?
yes, sir.
What did you do? What was your MOS?
I was a combat medic,
Oh,
but I had a specialty of ear, nose, and throat.
okay.
So I worked on hearing conservation, and
Hmm.
I've got an associate's in automotive.
Huh.
And I have a bachelor's in biblical science and leadership and counseling
Cool,
from MCC.
cool. That's good, that's good. Did you ever get deployed into fun activities?
I went to Korea. My closest deployment was Korea. There wasn't enough of us in my field and there's no need for ear, nose, and throat.
Yeah.
In theater, so they kept me in the hospitals here.
Right, a hospital setting would be more appropriate. You got married, got kids,
Married for 28 years,
Good.
2 kids. My daughter is married to an active duty soldier at Fort Carson, Colorado Springs. My son is severe autistic and lives in Parsons, Kansas, at the state hospital down there.
Okay, yeah.
I work for Johnson County Community College, the ABM part of it, the custodial part of it, as a custodian. And what my plans are with this, I'm gonna do the MABT. But what God tells me to do after that, it's all in his hands. I have no control.
He's waiting to see.
I just put my hands up and go, Jesus, take the wheel.
Are you doing ministry now?
No.
No, you're not.
Haven't had the opportunity to.
You have or haven't?
Haven't. Not since I moved here. We just moved here. We got here in May of this year.
Okay.
I graduated May of this year. And right after I graduated, we sold our house in Junction City and moved just north of Kansas City. Not North Kansas City, north of Granby Triangle, what they call South Kansas City.
Right.
And I belong to Legacy Christian Campus. They have one here. They have 3 over in
One
Kansas.
over on the west side.
Oh, they've got Orland Park in blue.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So just waiting for God to tell me what to do.
See what the Lord says to do. Good, great. Sean, or James.
Sir.
Introduce yourself. James Zuber?
James Zuber.
Zuber.
Yes, I, like my friend over here, I was military for 33 years. I've been around a few states and a few countries. And I was born originally in Michigan, but I just go back there to visit every once in a blue moon. Otherwise, yeah, my home is wherever my wife is at. That's where my home right now is. I live in Kansas. My wife is there right now working at home. And she's sick, so we'd like to get a little bit of a prayer out for her. Her name is Doris today. Keep her in prayer. Appreciate that.
Where in Kansas do you live?
We live over in Leawood,
Linwood, okay. I live over in Shawnee,
in Shawnee.
so I drive a little further than you do. Hey, you have a bunch of kids?
We had one child. It was an unborn child that was about to be born. We lost our child.
Oh.
That's my testimony. That's what
Yeah.
brought me here. And one day I will see my daughter in heaven. So we look forward to her. We named her Mei Li, which is beautiful in Chinese.
Mhm.
My wife is Taiwanese.
Oh.
And so we have a tendency to go to Asia quite a bit too. Me, I've done most of my ministries. If I go overseas, they're usually Central America. My Spanish is terrible. 2 semesters, I can get you the baños and back. But I do go down to, I was back in Honduras before Christmas this past year. I will be there just after we get done with this class. We'll be in Florida and then back down to Honduras again.
Interesting, cool. A lot of travel. Is that missions work?
I do missions work. Actually, it's a little bit unique. There is a young man who started a school down there. I've been affiliated with helping them out. It's a organization called Cocal Gracias. They work out of Puerto Cortes, and they started a school on a dump. And what they do is now it's a very large school. All the teachers are Honduran. They teach auto mechanics. You mentioned that. They do auto mechanics. They do sewing, computer, and one other one. It's like a mixed carpentry type course. All of them are state sponsored, but every one of them has a Bible class attached to it. So the only way you're going to get done with there is go through the Bible. So that is why it is there. And then we support two ministries up on the mountaintop that's nearby. One of them's at a town or a village called, excuse me, I want to get the right Spanish name for this one. One of them is Agua Caliente, what's it, hot water or whatever it is. And then the other one is above there, was this Panañas, which is above there. It's kind of a name. It's not really a meaning type name. And that's the other one we have. So we go up there and support the pastor that does both churches. And by the way, they're like 3 miles apart, but if you sell the road, it takes you about a half hour to maybe about 45 minutes to get up that little road.
Mm-hmm.
It's really rough territory, but it's actually really good, very rewarding.
I just, for the 3rd time, I went to Uganda just back in September to teach in Kampala, which is the capital. So it's modern, but yet you get off the main street and everything's dirt.
Yes, yes.
Sort of rugged, but have students, last time I was there in 2018, from 5 different countries, this time only 3 different. A couple of students just talking to them, one day during the class. He says, so where do you live? I don't know, Rwanda. And he said, well, how far? No, it's about 200 miles. Well, how long does it take you to get there? 12 hours. Well, 3 of that is probably sitting at the border, he says. But then it's just riding along in a bus. So it's just horrendous, But interesting to hear them talking about their lives and the language issues. Fortunately, it was all in English, so I didn't have to learn anything else to teach there. What was I going to ask? You're an evangelist, though, street evangelist. What does that mean?
Yeah, everybody's kind of calling me that, and so I've kind of taken that. But basically, what I do is I just I point people to Jesus wherever I see them out in the streets. I walk the streets quite a few hours. I do have work, and do have other things that I do, and 2 other Bible studies. But I do take that as a primary mission. And it's been great, and meet with people that are homeless. There are a couple of places that I go to where I do not have support, so I'm always very careful, and I do not advise people to go to some of the encampments without having somebody there, or at least having a pretty good knowledge how to handle it.
You're talking about in the Kansas City area.
In the Kansas City area, actually, it's on both sides of, if you come off the state line going up to 150 underneath the bridge there, a lot of people don't know there's a very large encampment there. And yes, sir. And then also as you go back down state line, coming all the way, as you come past the highway, that's where a lot of people are coming off of. It's a little bit off the Indian. You can't see it from the Indian Creek Parkway, but trust me, there's another encampment down there. And that's where a lot of people that you see them staging and panhandling from. There are some that are actually homeless that are from there. And there's others that aren't, but guess what? Whoever God puts in your place, you just tend to.
Yeah, I come down 135th and stop there at the Walmart, and somebody stopping at the McDonald's, and there's always somebody in there, on all the corners there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
135th.
Matter of fact, I know most of the folks that are there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, matter of fact, one of them though, and this is the interesting part, this is why you can't tell, this is why you have to be, this is why you always introduce yourself to them and give them a food card, do not please give cash. I tell people that all the time, they just don't understand. I know it's your heart, no, don't give cash. You're hurting, you're really hurting. Give food cards, go to McDonald's if you want to, get $100 worth of cards. You can get them in $20 increments, $10 increments, whatever the case may be. Hand those out, Bible scripture, stuff like that. I always introduce my name, I get their name, I pray for them, I pray for them on spot. I have stuff in my car, so if I do that one, and a lot of times I'll just tag and I'll have a backpack and give it that away right there. And it's a good way to do it. Yeah, the interesting story is one of the gentlemen there is actually autistic. And he actually does his drawings and stuff there, and you'll watch him do his drawings and stuff. And believe it or not, he's not putting up a sign that says food or anything else. And he is literally homeless. He's out on the street. His dad could not deal with him, and his mom had left a long time ago. He's out on the streets, but he has little sayings he puts up there. And he's been introduced to Jesus. We talk quite a bit. So, but he's one of those that if you're talking, you have to watch conversation, slow down, because if he gets going, he'll get worked up a little bit. So you gotta do that one right there.
Because of his autism.
Because of his autism. So it's amazing what you read out there. And like I said, there's a lot of people are out there, no fault of their own. And there's others that are out there because of instances that were theirs. And then a lot of them take others. A lot of them are drugs, alcohol, and a lot of those things.
Right. Cool. Well, the Lord bless you. You should do that. Really. For all of us there. Lee Tron, if I'm saying your name correctly, if you could send us your record in Teams, just an introduction video. It's not a requirement, but that'd be great that we could then see you, and you're going to see us through all the videos. But it'd be great to connect with you and just introduce yourself as you're able, as you're comfortable, not knowing where you're at around the world. But what you said, you're going to have to watch the videos for sure, time difference, whatever, or work. You haven't taken any languages, but you've taken 33 credits at Calvary, so you're almost about to finish the MABT. So he's along with you. Do any of you all remember his name in any of the classes? If I'm saying it correctly, Li Xuan Wang or Wang?
Is he on?
No, he's not able to log in. So he'll be watching the video, and we won't be able to see him unless he sends us something there. As we get to the end, you're asked about the presentations. If he recorded a presentation, I'll definitely play it for us all, so we could see that. Okay. Because I like to interact with people. Okay. All right, I'm, Mike Dodd's born and raised in the Chicago area. The west side of Chicago was always fascinated with airplanes. That's part of growing up. As the airplanes come in and out of O'Hare or Midway, on one side, we're almost due west of downtown on the Burlington tracks. A little small town of Eola, Illinois, is where I was raised out in the country, cornfields and bean fields all around me, type thing. My dad was an educator. He had been at Wheaton College because he had been an athlete. He held the world mile record and the world mile record for a number of years. So he was hired by Wheaton, first of all, to run their athletic program there, and then got into education the rest of his career that I was growing up. And so we went from there to Indiana, came back to Chicago area as he's dealing with different schools. I went to Asbury College in Wilmore, Kentucky, which is a Methodist school, because my dad had a good friend, Dr. Byrne, I don't remember his name, Christian ed. Somehow my dad and he ran into each other. I was going to go to Wheaton. I got accepted to Wheaton College, and so expensive. Had to either buy a car or live on the dorm, and I want to go away. So Dad said, well, think about Asbury. It's a good Christian school, Wesleyan Methodist, in the holiness tradition, which we aren't. We were raised in Bible churches on the west side of Chicago. So when I went there, that's different. I've never heard that before, a few spots in the theology. But I went there to major in English, secondary education. I was going to teach English. The Vietnam War was raging, going on at that time, and I had when they came out with the lottery number, the draft. The first year I was eligible for that, I had a deferment, and my number was like 300 and something, so I wasn't going to go. There were no no fact about it. The next year, my year of graduation, my number was 76. I'm going, they've been getting up into the 140, 50s. So I'm going somewhere. And the Army was breathing down my neck, did the physical and everything. So I said, I always wanted to fly. So I applied to the Air Force and went in and flew for the Air Force for a little bit. Enjoyed that. But then at the end of Vietnam, too many pilots, not enough cockpits. I was on the ground. I liked it. Didn't like the parts of it, type thing. So I got out. But God was calling me into ministry. So I went to seminary, went to Dallas Seminary, finished up there, and got in the pastorate up in Illinois and then Wisconsin, and came back in the chaplaincy as a reservist and came back active duty. When Desert Storm kicked off, they were packing up our clothes to go back to Dyess Air Force Base to be an active duty chaplain. And about that time, I was, 20 years active, 20 years, good years, half of it reserve, half of it active duty. And Clinton came in and he cut out my year group, 95% of us that were out the door. And there's just no way I could compete. So I separated, was going to go to, what's down in the Caribbean? My follow-on assignment from Dyess would have been to, what's the place? It's a prison. It's closed now. Guantanamo Bay is where I was going to go. All right. So my wife said, okay, go for a year. So I never was really separated from family, the whole time I was in the military. So I never experienced that. But anyway, got out as a retirement, went back into chaplaincy in Wisconsin, or went back to the pastorate. And so I've got about 24 years of pastorate active, and then the military, half of it reserve. So a few years of ministry there. And came to pastor a church in Kansas, in Shawnee. It was a sort of tough situation. Was there for about 4.5 years and got beat up, worn out. So I stepped away from that ministry and thought, forget the ministry. I really was angry on one side, sort of burnt on the other. Okay, that's another story. We leave to God's sovereignty there on that one. I sold securities with Edward Jones, for a year. I thought, well, I'll start another career. Realized real quickly, I'm not a salesman. I'm a teacher at heart and a pastor, because I get with people and they start telling me their story and I wouldn't sell a security. So anyway, then God opened an opportunity through Tom Borain. You mentioned Tom Borain, Dr. Borain here. He was the dean of the seminary, and there was a gentleman doing ministry studies at the college, and they were both overworked. And Tom worked, well, what if we had somebody come and do ministry studies at both the college and the seminary? I was over the MDiv and then the college pastoral ministry. So that's how I started here. Small school, you do a lot of things, and the rest of the story here. So I'm delighted what I'm doing here, serving now, and delighted to be in class here with you. I've got wife, 5 kids, 16 grandchildren scattered all over the place. So they're a delight. But I get this time of year, I'm looking forward to seeing the grandkids, playing grandpa. We used to have a family, one of our daughters in town, and there are 5 kids. And since they moved away, I don't get to hear grandpa that much. Yeah. They do that. And they're getting old. Our oldest grandchild's 18 now. So they're up there. And he's got a significant girlfriend there too. So he's going to get married soon, I think. Not at 18, I hope. I hope he puts a few more years on. He gets out of high school, finishes up, and gets into a job there. But we're in a good class together. I want to lead us in a word of prayer. But this is ministry here to one another. So as we come together, you mentioned that your wife is feeling puny tonight. So yes. Remember Doris. Anything else that we could remember?
My son,
your son.
Croup. Yeah.
Croup.
He seems like he's doing better already after a day, but still, as if to keep an eye on.
Scary when you hear him coughing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This morning it was bad.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never heard him cough like that. Yeah, and then he can't breathe as much because your airways get restricted. Yeah. So he sounded miserable. Anyways, first time we've actually had to take him into the doctor or anything for being sick, other than just like regular checkups, and he's almost 14 months. So really, guys, been very gracious with us so far. So this is not that bad, but still just hard on mom. And we moved yesterday from Kansas City out to Bonner.
What did you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we spent all day moving yesterday and then woke up at, 4 this morning with the sick kid. So, hard on mom, too. So, yeah, if you could just pray for both of us.
For it too. Anything else we can mention tonight as we gather though? Well, let me lead us in prayer. Let's pray together. Father, we thank you for your love and grace to us. And that's the context in which we're relating together. We know that. And Father, thank you for just each of the men here and their families and just what you're desiring to do in using us for your glory. That's our prayer. Father, just bless each of us here. Bless Lee Shuang as he's watching the video. Lord, you know the context of all of our lives. We think specifically of Doris tonight and just pray to just comfort her, encourage her, and touch her physically. And Lord, for their son, Robin's son, and Lord, just with the group and just mom and dad and just crying out to you over the pain that their son feels. And so, Father, comfort him and comfort them as well. Lord, all these things that we are thinking about beyond what we've shared, we just know that we can trust you with them. So give us the grace and the resources that we need to respond in a way that would honor you and fulfill your will. That's our prayer. Bless this class with good communication. That's always our prayer. And then, Lord, lead us as to how to use this to glorify you for Jesus' sake. Amen.
Amen.
All right, I'm going to walk through the syllabus in this hour. First hour, just walk through the syllabus, see the questions you have about assignments. I'm going to introduce at the end, after we talk about the languages, I'll save that assignment in detail just to make sure you know what to do and what would be most beneficial for you. Now, I want to clarify just a thought because I just got it in my mind. None of you have taken both Greek and Hebrew, right? Okay, so there's an option for somebody that's done that. Every once in a while, I have somebody that's done that. Well, you still have to fill in the time, so I give you a good book to read. That's what that is, a very good book. And you can read it if you want, but not for this class. Here's a copy of the schedule. I don't have the syllabus. I'm going to show it online. Take that, James, take one and pass it on around. Let me just stand up. I'm not going to read everything in the syllabus, and I'm going to look back at Sean.
Yes, sir.
Do you have, are you in Teams?
No, sir.
And looking at it? Or is anybody in Teams? You're not looking at it? Just to make sure I'm showing the screen. If somebody could do that, just verify that it's.
I can jump on there, I think.
Pardon?
Try jumping on there.
If you could, that would really help, just to make sure, because I want to make sure Lee Tron is able to see what we're talking about here. And Lee Tron, be sure and send me any messages, any text, whether through an email or through Canvas, questions that you have about it. All right, we're going to meet here for this cycle up to Christmas. Anyone graduating here in December? You are.
Well, I'm not going to graduation, so no problem.
Yeah, it's in the spring, there's always that final week. I've got to turn grades in, but I don't think I need to here. It's just, I got to get the grades in at the end, but all right, I need to think that one through.
That's if you pass me.
Then we got to work with the lines. Pardon?
That's if you pass me.
Yeah, well, you will. All right, all the things that are beginning, I put a number of the, everybody does the syllabus a little different. I put all the general statements up front. Type of course, disabilities, assistance, the Clark Academic Center. And they definitely will help with languages there. You just got to contact an email or walk in and do that if you've not done. Now, I've just said something, and I got to realize several of you started. Okay. Maybe I could.
You are sharing, sir.
It is good. I'm going to shut the microphone off there.
No, you're fine. I let your mine off.
I don't think there's no sound I need to come out of there. I just don't want to have an echo. It's still recording. But the Clark Academic Center across over by our
Student Learning Center, has resources, tutors to help people with languages, and definitely the library people are right there. So use them. Next week, we're going to have the librarian come in. She's going to talk about all the resource tools that we have here on campus, online and in the library. So I'll let her introduce all that. Mrs. Smith, Tiffany Smith. The last item is unique. I think, I don't know that other people have ever had that, but somebody challenged me a while back, maybe it was somebody here, to remind us that a syllabus is like a contract. And so I can't change anything in it without us dialoguing together. It's an agreement between you and I. It's almost the form of a contract. So I like to remind you that, Dr. Dodge, you can't do that. That's going to add to my life extra hours. Now, usually any change that we do, it's more like, don't do that assignment. And you all go,
You can take away, you just can't add.
yes, right. That's usually what it is. So we're all related about it.
Come on, yeah, with me there.
But if for some reason I do something, well, you have every right to talk to me. Students are introduced. This is here because it's in our catalog. So I have to leave that statement about logos and accordance here. At one time I presented the course, you had to buy one of them. And we're not requiring that anymore. There was a time that we had an agreement with Logos and everybody had to buy that, over the years that I've been here. Dr. Gromacki, I think, likes accordance here. So he's stepping back and we're encouraging you to get the software. You have Logos, whatever version of it. Accordance, I think, is a little more Mac oriented, is what I've heard. Instead of Android. Seems to be the difference, but they're very similar. They're going to sell you a lot of books. But good tools, either of them. What I put at the end of this introduction is institutional learning objectives. I'm not required to put that there, but I put it on all my syllabi. So as you look in the catalog, where does this course fit in that ultimate objective for all of our students? And then when you get down into the specific competencies, the general objectives and the specific objectives, we all have to put in here program learning objectives. This course comes in the Bible and Theology department. So you have to go in that part of the catalog and it's the first objective and the first, three way. Well, we hit the third in some of the assignments. And after that, and this is what all the other instructors have to do in some form, the A means the assignment. Now I've not numbered mine. I have, excuse me. This is the way Dr. Gromacki wants them numbered. So we put it in that form for us all. All right, that's what that means. The Bible, you have a good copy of the Bible, Kate Turabian. In the 9th edition, we have not yet come out with a new style guide. This is our textbook. It has a lot of material in it relative to resourcing, your sources. But in the back, it has a lot of material for how to write a paper. Now, I'm in a sense covering a lot of this back here. So in the assignment, in the class schedule, you'll see sections of Turabian that I want you to read and do practice assignments for. Let me jump to that. Now, if I do this, Sean, can you see that file in Teams? You can, good.
Yes, sir.
Turabian, for tonight, we're covering chapters 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. But you get down, where did I put it? Oh, I didn't. It must be in the specific assignments then. I used to have it in my schedule here.
You know which chapters?
Yeah, the chapters are what we're going to discuss for the evening. So as you're reading, that's what you want to be reading. Next week, chapters 3 and 4, what we're going to basically cover. And in each of the assignments, like there's always going to be a formatting assignment. That's Turabian. Then there's going to be a software language. And I'm going to introduce some software tools that I use. Anybody can go find them online. You don't need to buy Logos in accordance for what we need to do. And especially for MABT, maybe you want to get the software and use it. If you go to the MDiv, you definitely have to, for the languages, have something to help you out there a little bit further. The software tools out online are really good. They're free. You can use them too. what else do I need to show? When you get into the individual assignments, Sean, help me out. Are we seeing here going to, no, I probably have to share that, so I'm gonna stay back. We'll go back to Canvas in a minute here. The assignments will list the pages in Turabian that I want you to read. And the assignments will cover, you'll see those. Now, I think I've posted all the assignments, because James, you've already done the Hebrew one, the first one there. So you can just pace through the assignments as you want, or you could follow the schedule. Now, some of you are a little bit more adept with the language and you go, oh, wow, I just knock a couple of them out there, because there's only 5 of each, 5 Hebrew, 5 Greek assignments, 5 formatting. But then if you follow the schedule, you'll be following what I'm talking about too. There's the method of madness. All right, required Bible software, I had it there. We're not requiring it, so I need to take that out the next time. What did I do? Oh, I didn't take it out because we put our syllabus out 6 months, 7 months ago. So next time it won't be in there. We're not requiring it. Somebody didn't buy it. Pardon?
This logo's 10 now.
Logos 10 now, is it? Yeah. Okay.
9's no longer.
All right. The assignments: Turabian formatting and writing style practice. Like I just said, you're going to see the assignments pop up. I'll wait till I get into Canvas so we don't waste time.
You just want a Word document to answer those? You
Sure.
throw those on.
Yep.
As for the languages, you have a portion on it where you want a word study, any particular format you want the word study, because there's a lot of stuff you can put in there. It's not going to be like real pretty.
I don't know how you've studied. There's an assumption that you've taken a Greek course or a Hebrew
Yes.
course before. You've learned a methodology for presenting a word study.
Not really.
I'm not looking for Dr. Nelson here, 25 pages for a word study. No, don't do that.
You said one page, and what I did was
Right.
I did one, for example, and I just broke down the word. You said a word or a phrase, or a verse, excuse me, did a word, and I broke it down and into all the different different places it's going to be found in the Bible. Basically, if it's an aorist, if it's just a verb, whatever the case may be, broke that down, and then described it and how it's used in each one of the sentences and each one of
It's
the
just
verses.
using the tools. That's
Okay,
what this
good.
course is
Got it.
all about.
Got
Do you show that you've gotten into the software somewhere or the books, to help you to parse out the verbs and identify the nouns, and then now you're going to talk about a specific word or phrasing there, what it means, what do you think?
And what it does in that particular one. Yes, sir. Got it. Good. Yeah. So it
Parsing.
doesn't show like you can't really word that as in saying, hey, in the beginning, there is an aorist. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to. Okay. Yeah. Good.
So there are going to be 2 assignments here in the first 5 sessions. Turabian formatting, meaning you're going to look at kinds of material. We're going to do an exercise tonight just to get you back thinking. And you're picking a book up out of the library or you're looking at some resource online and you're writing a paper. How do I source it? How do I make a footnote? That's what I'm talking about here. Different kinds of material, just so you're exposed to it. Now, for somebody like you all that have a number of courses you've taken already, this would be, Bush, you're going to go, this is almost too childlike. If I could use that term, I hope not. But maybe it'll be good review for you if you've already done a lot of formatting. We use Turabian. If you've not used Turabian before, that's Chicago style. It's a little more clunky than some. Each session here, each class session, we're going to talk about the exercises and introduce the material that will get you going in that direction. We're also going to be introducing writing style for graduate academic work. There's going to be an element with the formatting practice is what they're called. It's formatting. It says practice number 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to have material from the back where you're going to reference that and think through, oh, okay, I'm not only formatting sources, I'm also writing. So how do I make sure I write well? Number 2, Bible languages, Bible software practice. Same thing. We're gonna work through so you're feeling comfortable enough with the languages to read them. Read them meaning, I know where that word is and I know where to go find it in the tools.
Okay.
And I'm reading commentary. Yeah, I sort of know what they meant when they just said the imperfect tense or the PL verb form there in Hebrew. And you're just, I remember Dr. Dodd saying something about that way back when. Research topic. Students are going to choose and submit a graduate level research topic. You're going to do that this week. After we get through talking, well, I'm going to come back, so rather than repeat. That'll be our first assignment, where you got to lay out what a topic. This isn't a thesis, it's a topic. What would I like to research? If you're going to go on and write your master's thesis here at Calvary, then this course is going to enable you to do that. Select your topic that in 3 or 4 years, you're actually going to write your thesis on. It'll save you some time. That's what we do with some of the students that know they're going to go on to the Master of Divinity, because you have to write a thesis there. If you could start writing it now, that's what we're really working for. Your next assignment is, once you've got a good research topic, then let's go out and start finding information about that topic. Who's written on it? What have they written on? And in the process, you're going to be refining the topic. You're going to eventually get to a point after doing your research to say, I'm going to make a tentative thesis statement. I'm going to make a stab at, this is the truth I want to prove. Now, you don't know whether it's really true or not, but yet you're making a stab at it. And that's going to guide. And as you go through the research, you go, oh, that isn't right. I've got to rechange my thesis. In this initial bibliography, you're going to refine your topic. You're going to go, wow, I thought of, whatever it was, the Lilith, that I mentioned, the general last time. There's no material on it. Well, there was a lot of material, but it wasn't biblical. It was extra biblical. It was rabbinic literature that talked about it. Okay, legitimate topic for an Old Testament scholar. Where you do that, but you're going to go out and find material that will, bibliography will include research material, reference material, BDAG, Brown Driver Briggs, commentaries that you're going to use. Just start building this bibliography of sources that you're going to go back to and start doing your research on your topic. Maybe should focus on primary sources, not a secondary source. Yeah, we do a lot of commentary is a secondary source. What's the primary source? The Bible itself, right? So if I can do the study in the languages, then I'm going to use the primary source. All right, for commentaries, I don't have a background in languages. I'm going to have to use secondary, but I want to use good ones. Peer-reviewed journals, dissertations, academic monographs, exegetical commentaries. The total number of pages for research reading. Now, I say research reading. You're not going to read 350 pages. Pardon? I'm not showing the, which aren't we showing?
Visual, sorry, my bad.
Am I? Are you okay? Good, thanks, Sean.
My bad. I've got the small screen. You can see my screen. I got a small screen.
Goes away.
Yeah, my bad.
You're good.
That's okay. 350 pages. You're not going to read all 350 pages. You're going to do a lot of skimming. And so this is not, oh, well, I'm a slow reader. I'm saying that. If you are, don't hyperventilate like I would be here, because that'd be how many hours I'd add that onto that. But you're going to review it enough to know, that would be material that I should squirrel away in a bibliography to come back to and maybe use in my research in some form. Designate at least one item that we borrowed via interlibrary loan. I'm not asking you to actually get one. Mrs. Smith, when she's here next week, she's going to talk about Mobius and the opportunities we have. So when you put your bibliography together, just out there in the reference after you put some information about it, from Mobius, from interlibrary loan, this is just an exercise in the bibliography here that you know how to go find materials that we don't have in our own library here, because we have a consortium agreement, and I want to make sure you've seen how to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I've got all my books at home. I've got a library at home. I have vast one, so I still have to come to the university and,
Nope, you can do it all online. She's gonna tell you.
okay, so that's what you're
And
saying.
you can identify, this is the book that I found out there. If I were to actually do the research, I'd go send a request through our library system that they'd send it, receive it here, go pick up the book and then use it.
Okay,
But you don't have to do it.
okay,
All right.
okay.
Unless you really want to continue reading with that book. But just identify that you found it
All right,
there through our library system. It's a research assignment. Okay, good. Prose outline is what I've called this next assignment, and an abstract. We'll get into it further, but a prose outline real quickly is not the outline. I don't have a copy of a thesis here. You know, the outlines where you see chapter 1, and then it has the pages on the side, and then the indents for the sections there. No, I'm talking about for chapter 1, what am I going to say in chapter 1? A prose outline. You're just going to start writing it out. That's part of the writing task methodology that I'm going to introduce here. Prose meaning you're gonna write like a story, but it's not a story. But instead of an outline that just has phrases, titles, you're gonna write sentences. That's what prose means there. We'll come to it. It's gonna look more like a paragraph and not an outline. Okay. Then this is done at the end of the whole research process. You've got your product. You're going to go send it to the printer. You're going to put it in the library. You're going to write an abstract. Well, I'm going to have you do it here. Just for the purpose of this class, so you've done that exercise. And what it's going to help you for this class is it's going to start your thinking coalescing around, I think this is what I'm going to find and say. Whereas when you actually write an abstract of your document, your research project, you know what you're going to say, and it's like a précis, if you ever heard of that term. It's a paragraph. It includes your thesis statement and how you approach the methodology you're following, of answering that question, that research question. Students will submit a detailed outline. All right, prose outline. Now that word shouldn't be there. I need to take out that detailed outline to the sub-paragraph argument level, because down here it doesn't say it. Here's where you actually do the detailed outline. So I'm looking at that word and I go, I need to change that. But we'll explain. I don't need to get on any further, unless I'm confusing somebody. But you're going to write an outline at this point for this assignment and an abstract. There's the 2 parts to this week's assignment. Next week, chapter leading body paragraphs. All right, you've started talking about what you're going to cover, the evidence, the different reasons that you're going to argue for your thesis. Your thesis term you're going to use in 2 different ways. The thesis is the statement you're trying to argue for. It's the true statement. But a thesis is also a document that we use. So I'll try to make sure I'm clarifying what I'm saying. The leading body paragraphs of your thesis, and now I'm thinking of the paper, the document. I'm going to call it also a syllabus, and I'll introduce that too. That's another way of talking this document. If you wrote the whole paper, it would be your thesis. You go to the library, pull the book out. Oh, there's his thesis he wrote for his master's. But in that, you have a thesis statement. Okay, 2 different things. But what we're going to do, we're just only going to write the syllabus. You're not going to write that whole book that you're going to put in the library. So you're going to start laying it out. You've done a prose outline. Now you're going, okay, I'm going to start laying out what I'm going to do in each chapter. And I'm actually going to start writing the chapter. And usually in your introduction, you want to lay out what you're going to do in that chapter of your thesis. And now I'm using that as the book that you're going to write, or the document you're going to write. So the leading body paragraphs in each chapter. If you have 5 chapters you think you need to cover to prove your thesis, and we'll lay out what a typical master's thesis is here to show you what I'm thinking of. If you're going to do it for, you're at the end, you're never going to use this, you said, but I might want to do some research here and writing on this. So maybe I'll have 6 chapters, 7 chapters. So you're thinking of, these are the different portions of my argument. I'm going to introduce it, chapter 1, chapter 2, literature study, okay, you're working it through. And so you're going to have laid out your whole paper here in chapters, sections, but you're not going to write the whole chapter. Then you're going to give me a complete syllabus, and we'll clarify what a complete syllabus is. I'm going to show you an example tonight. It's about a 15-page paper, 20-page paper, double-spaced, not including the bibliography. So it's 20, 25 pages.
So is it
the
actual
paper.
research paper or what is it?
Yes. It's not the whole paper.
Oh, it's not.
It's not.
Okay.
But it's the form of the paper. See, I gotta get it clarified.
Yeah, I was whacked when I was reading that. I was just kind of, I never knew what a syllabus was, so I was reading stuff.
Well, we have a syllabus for the course.
Right.
That's where we're going.
Different. Yeah.
And so there's a similarity there. This is where I'm going. It's not all my research. I'm going to tell you in this chapter, I know I have to talk about this and this is what I think I'm going to find, but then you don't really talk about your research because you haven't totally done it yet. You know that's what you got to cover, but see, there's a process, and we'll talk about the process.
Okay.
It's not the final paper.
I missed it.
The final paper here for a thesis here, 15 pages, and then you put your bibliography on it. You got a title page, chapter, contents page. So you're about 20 pages. Normally, most people, 18, 20 pages there you're going to present. The thesis, 50 to 75 pages, is the document. And it's going to be an expansion of what you just wrote in your syllabus because you've added your research and your findings. And then at the very end of the course, I want you to actually present it. So that's where we sit and talk. I'm going to, usually when you're doing a master's thesis, well, thesis dissertation, you're assigned an advisor, first reader after that. The advisor helps you to write it, also does reviewing with you. As you come, you're going to present a proposal with a précis and a tentative bibliography, usually what is required. That's what we require here. Then we're going to say, good, great, bring a syllabus. And you wander off and do what this course is going to help you learn how to do. You come back with this 15-page syllabus, you sit down and talk with your advisor. He goes, really? Oh, wow, I like what you're doing, but what about this? And what about that? And it's to try to redirect you in your research, refer you to some other sources, to continue your research, because you're just at the point where now I'm going to spend the next 6 months doing all my research, or intensively 1 month if I'm just here by myself. That's the only course I'm taking, type thing. That's the course we're going to end up doing. Just normal stuff with classes. Don't interrupt each other. That's what we're all going to do, but we're going to have fun. We're going to do it. We use the 8th edition is what we say here, but we're using the 9th for the class, which is what I had up here, which is an inconsistency, isn't it? Oh, yeah, 9th edition. Okay. There's a style guide, and that's what this is referring to back here. Where do I have that? Our Turabian style guide. Anybody familiar with that? Yeah. You've seen that. It's got a lot of good help tools. There's not a significant difference between the 8th and 9th. They just put out another one that's a little bit more money.
I like the style guide because it's nice and short, concise.
Yeah.
You can just get rid of
It's to the point. School specific is what the
Exactly.
style guide addendum would be to it. There's a sense in which you don't need to use this, but it's there. It'll help you. There's a lot of good examples there, to figure out. But definitely use what the 9th says. Late papers, of course, that was submitted by the due date. Plagiarism, don't do it. We do have Turnitin.com. Oh, wow. This is before we wrote about AI. Technically, we can't allow any papers with AI work in it. Now, every computer uses AI. What do you mean? Don't go out and just type in a question and come back. Invariably, I've heard people saying, I'm not used the AI stuff much. I haven't used it at all. Where you see the difference is the sources. One of our profs went out and did a paper, and it came out, looked perfect, had sources, had the right authors, but then you start researching the author. He never wrote that book. There's no book like that name. It just made it up. So So again, that's what I've heard other people talk about. There are limitations to it. Okay, just type, I typed that. Yuck. Turn it in, so it's supposed to be, or just play on the computer. Grading scale, kind of thing. This is just a tentative thing. All of us have graded a lot of papers and we sort of get a feel, but we follow a rubric, for all the assignments, and then the point system. A rough schedule, and follow the schedule that we have in the syllabus link in Canvas. Now, Sean, are you seeing this file? There in
Yes, sir.
Teams, good. Find the schedule, download this. This will tell you what to do. So here's tonight, Thursday, October 26th, the first week, ABC. We're divided into 3 different topics, sections for each evening. Introducing the course, that's what we're doing here. Then we're going to have a section on introducing research, asking questions, finding answers. And then we're going to do at the end, introduction to the languages and the language topics, or the language assignment. Next week, you're going to come back, due on November 2nd there, present your research topic there. We'll talk about that assignment. Let me go ahead and talk about it now, since I got it in my mind so I don't forget. What I want you to do is narrow it, present a topic in Canvas, and in that link that says research topic. I'm going to look them through, and I might come back at you without giving it a grade, or maybe I'll give a 0 just so Canvas can record it and you can get it back. But then I'll change it, because I might dialogue with you a couple times, at least one time, expect maybe, or maybe I'll come back and say, hey, that's a good topic as I look at it, because then you're going to use that topic for the rest of the course as we're going through the writing of it. So I want to make sure you've narrowed it down a little bit. We'll talk about it. So this first assignment, submit it in there sometime in this coming week, and I'll try to see it as quickly as I can. And if I give you feedback, even up to next week, and go, you just turned it in, but work on it a little bit more, and then I'll look at it again. So that's the only assignment that I'll look at it a couple times. The rest of them, you say, hey, is this what you're wanting? Shoot, and then we'll look at it, and then next time when you submit it, then that's when we're going to grade it. Am I making sense? Confusing anybody? But this week I expect you to, don't be surprised if I ask you to redo it there. That's what I'm saying. Formatting, number 1, practice number 1, I think is how it also says it in Canvas. And then the software / language, I want you to just use what software you have or tools that you have with the languages, both Greek and Hebrew. Next week, our librarian, Tiffany Smith's going to come in, probably do two hours at least is what she'll spend. So come with your questions about research, how to do research here at Calvary, and she'll tell you all the stuff we have. We're going to discuss our assignments and then continue. Every week will be research, writing, discussion, formatting. Any questions about that? And then continue with the languages.
And that first assignment, you have a number 2. It says do all the Hebrew exercises. There's only one exercise. So I was just curious.
I'll come back at you, give you a handout. I've revised it a little bit as I was looking at it today.
Okay.
Because it's a little confusing for me.
That was confusing too.
Yeah, right. Well, it might still be confusing there, James. Hopefully we can make it a little clearer for you when we talk it through.
That was just me. Good.
Yeah, we'll make sure we do that. Where I want to get down to, Thanksgiving, Thursday night, you're going to be home stuffing, watching football and all the rest. This kind of, since we're on Thursday, I'm going to Dallas this week, but I'm going to be back Wednesday night, so I'll be here for class on Thursday. That's not a problem. This year, the other years it was.
So we are here in class on Thanksgiving?
No.
No, we're not having,
Next week.
I'm sorry.
He's
Sean,
talking
I
next
jumped
week.
another
It's
thing.
possibility.
We're not meeting Thanksgiving week. I'm going to be in Wisconsin, you're going to be wherever you're at.
Okay, I'm sorry, Doc.
No, that's okay. I was just mumbling to myself in a sense, because I want to look and make sure I didn't do something wrong. This week, the early part of the week, I'm going to be in Dallas for a conference.
Okay.
But I'm going to be back on Wednesday. So we're going to meet on every other night, but Thanksgiving night we'll be here. That last night, it'll just be you coming, having finished your syllabus, and you're just gonna come, we're all gonna go around the room and take a couple hours here talking and just sharing and learning what we're finding and learn a little bit more, answer any more questions you have about doing research.
Oh, so we're not actually gonna be on camera, that's what you're saying then?
No, you don't have to be.
Oh, good.
No, you're sitting right here.
Oh, that's fine, okay.
Is that okay?
I thought maybe I was up front on camera, and that's what I said, yeah,
I thought the same thing.
Well, we're gonna be recording it.
that's fine,
Is that fine?
that's fine, it's, yeah, that was the issue.
If you were saying, do you have to record something? No, I'm not asking you to record.
No, that's fine.
The only one will be
Yeah, that's fine, it's
you, John. That's okay.
different with Teams, because I know that's gonna be gone, this won't be.
Okay, cool. All right, let me go to, stop sharing that and go to Canvas and share that. Just to make sure you see what I've done in Canvas to set up the course. Where am I? That's what I'm gonna go back to.
I did that first exercise, the language went, so I'm gonna have to redo it. It sounds like you're gonna change something.
Well, let's see.
Let's see, okay.
Maybe you know you didn't. All right, so this is what you should see. Mine a little differently. And I'm not as familiar with the way you see that. The course is laid on the left-hand side, always
Same way.
pop up with the syllabus.
Yes, sir.
The homepage and the syllabus are the same. You click on it and it goes to the same. On the syllabus, there's the syllabus. The syllabus link is the syllabus. You can either download it, is what that arrow means, and it'll download it into your download file on your computer, or you click on it and it opens it up. And you just see it there, close it up on the top right-hand side. You can change the sizing of it, the orientation of it. The class schedule, what I was just looking at there. I had that as a Word file open. And then some, just what you're seeing in the course. Below it, on the syllabus page, the assignments all populate by due date. So you just start cranking them out. So we've got this response to week 1, and then topic presentation, response to week 2, class discussion. We have some other things. Down the left-hand side, this is the easiest place to find assignments, just on the syllabus page. I've also structured, and most of us do the same, where you go to the modules and they're by weeks. So week 1 is module 1. And in it, what you see is what you can open, and everything's open. I don't think I've left anything unopened except the week 1, week 2, week 3 class video. Yeah, no, you did. This is the video from the last time I taught. Everything else, yeah, the class video from the last time I taught. I'm going to delete those as we go, add in the ones that we have from here. So it'll just be Tuesday class, Thursday. What in the world do I have that for? I don't know why I didn't.
You're in a different class than we are.
Oh,
That's theology.
I am in a different class. Shoot. Sorry. The student view. I was thinking that sounds like more on the theology classes I've done. There we go. Research methods. Student view. Thank you, Sean. That looks a lot better. I wasn't really looking at the file. The same structure is the same. You go to modules and you find everything that in each week is what we cover that week. If you want to find any assignment, they're in there, the syllabus, they're here too. They're also in the assignments link. But this is all we're covering this week. So there's week 1 practice formatting, language exercises, research topic. Next week, we're going to come, and now notice what you don't see. Oh, you have class 1 video. I must have published that one. Yeah, I published it. So you can see it all, but let me go back to module 2, and you don't see there's week 2.
Oh, so you actually had
I must have published them already. Oh, no, that's the assignment. All right, let me come back and see what I wrote here.
Yeah, there was something missing on the modules. You were saying something in here when I looked for the module that wasn't in there yet. It was the one on, I don't think it was abstract, it was something.
I didn't add that in.
Yeah, so I looked at your modules and it still wasn't in there.
If you ever are lacking something or wondering where in the world, send me a text, let me know.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back and make sure I published everything for you.
On
And
week
and the only
one,
thing that's not published is when it says class session, those, let me back out of it. Yeah, see, that one's published. That's what it says to me. I've already published it. This one's not published, so you can't see that.
That's what I didn't see. That's the
Open-
one.
Open, see that?
Yeah, because you
I can
said,
open it.
you said, yeah, so week 2, class 2.
Week 3.
You're supposed to be able to open it. I was like, what?
But you can see everything that has the green, you're able to see. So week 2, you can see all this stuff, because I published all the assignments there. But then if I look to student view, that class 2 is not there.
So at class 1, what was the handouts on that? Because that wasn't in there earlier, but it's in there now.
When you open the link, now this is published so we can see it tonight. This is not the video. I'm going to delete that and add tonight's video there.
Okay.
So when Lee Chong's watching it, he's watching what we're seeing. All these PowerPoints, I'm going to use a couple PowerPoints tonight. Those are the PowerPoints that are there. So you can go back and open it up and, see what we talked about. Here's handouts that I'm using tonight, or am I introducing to you tonight for you to come back and look at. We're going to do these exercises here tonight. I'm going to open this syllabus for you. Let's just see what we're talking about. And then the language handouts. I'm not going to go through all these. They're here available for you to come back to. So anything we've introduced, come back here to open up and what is he talking about? And you might find the answer there. If you haven't, let me know. And let's go back to go on to the next one here. So down next week, you don't see this. That's week 3 anyway. The past 2. Yeah, here's a couple handouts about Turabian. I'm going to add in there. Here's a couple of examples that I've got. Same thing, the PowerPoint and language. PowerPoint, that'll be there. All right, down the left-hand side, I'm going to stay just in teaching view. Well, let's go back to student because you're going to see this thing. Why did I do that? I'll stay here. Down the left-hand side, if you're fishing around, you can find all the assignments by date and syllabus, by module, the week we introduced them, or go to the assignments link and they're grouped. So assignment 1 has a different number of elements. Assignment 2, 3, 4, now you're going through the syllabus. You can find the assignment, open it, do it right here. Or you can find it on the syllabus page. Anybody confused? And they're all green, so you can find it. You come in here for your grades, people, the other people, pages. There are documents that we have out there. And you can see the only ones that I have for this class are the video links where you have all the handouts. You usually never have to go there, or the files, but you're welcome to look around. You can find all the files here in that link. We don't do no, we don't do discussions in this class. I don't have rubrics by Canvas, but I use rubrics. Don't do the other ones here at the bottom. And I don't even know that you see all the rest of these down here because they're not active. Questions, anybody about Canvas? I've got announcements up here, and I'm going to put out an announcement if it applies to everybody, and it's just going to be there for the whole course. Like the welcome slide you saw, the style guide is here in this announcement. You just click on it, and there you can download the file. If something changed, here just information about how to record yourself in Teams. And here I asked, and you all responded. I don't think I got back to you, did I? Those that asked about that. I saw your emails and why I didn't come here. So if there's a time I'd want some information from you or to pass it on to you, might go through there. Questions, anybody? And let's take a break. You've been sitting too long. I'm chewing the gums too much. Let's take a break, come back and start talking about research. That works. Good. Recording off. Pardon? Recording off? Yes, we are. It's all right. I just leave it on.
Yeah, that was the one I was talking about. This is do all exercises. Just
I renumbered them. I'll show you because on the back I did here the last. That's confusing. So I changed that. Okay.
Okay, so I just wanted, yeah, so I did that Greek word, I took one of the words.
You did it because you've got Greek.
So I did that. And this one. I'll-
And you've not taken Hebrew, so you're doing all the Hebrew exercises.
Yeah, and which is all, yeah, that's what was confusing. It's not a lot of exercises, it's just one exercise, it was to record.
Yep, that's it. It's
Okay.
bare bones.
That's where it got me. I said, all the exercises, I was looking for something else. I said, do I do the other guys? Okay.
What did you guys think about the final?
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing that, because that's what was messing me up on it. Am I doing a research paper?
See a copy of the syllabus.
I have to ask you one thing. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
it's program, so I'll graduate, this is the last class. Okay, so I have to do a master's thesis. Is that what you're saying?
For what? Only if you take the Master of Divinity.
I'm not.
If you're just doing the MABT, there's no thesis.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, you said that. I said, okay, I said, I'm willing to do it, but I said, I used to, where and how I'm gonna do this one. Because
Don't unless you
I
like
need to
public
get going on
speaking.
that one. Yeah, that's exactly it. Okay, good. Thank you. There's a big sigh, really, because I was sitting there going, I had one for this one. So-
No, you don't. But for some people, this might feel like it.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can always see the back of your head.
Yeah, you can see the back of your head, so.
Good.
Yeah, you can see, yeah.
You are recording.
Yeah, right, it's still recording. I have a second.
May I ask why? Just.
Personal preference.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'm going up there.
Secret squirrel.
Very much so.
Got it. Yeah, that's all I need to know. Dr. Dodd,
Yes,
I have something to tell you real quick.
what's that?
This is what we use, what I've used in the past for like building sermons and doing work research projects.
Mhm.
And so you can scroll up and down, just use the arrow buttons, but you can see, this is basically.
Yeah, is this part of Logos?
No, sir.
There's a
This is
student I
created-
have a preaching class now. He uses Logos. Sermon builder
Yep,
or
right
something
here.
is the module.
This is by Dr. York and Dr. Henry.
Ah.
This is created by my two favorite,
York
my spiritual
from
mistress.
Southern, is York Southern? Is that the York you're talking about?
Dr. York, no, he was at Manhattan Christian College.
Oh, okay.
This is all from my last 3 years of my life, which is my walk with Christ, has all been spent at Manhattan Christian
Cool.
College.
Cool.
Your predecessor is Ozark. Dr. Henry came from Ozark,
Mhm.
but he got his doctorate at Lincoln. But you know, Lincoln is no longer going to be.
Now, Lincoln, Illinois?
Yep.
Really?
Lincoln Seminary is closing down, and so Ozark down there is now going to be Ozark. The Ozark College, Christian College, but it's also going to be Ozark Seminary.
Seminary. Huh.
Yep.
There's an organization, RHMA, Rural Home Missions Organization in Morton, Illinois, and they have a seminary level training program that we work with them, for anybody that wants to take a small town seminary class, how to do it. And the gentleman I'm working with, Barney Wells, is a professor at that seminary.
But yeah, CCA goes into, breaks it down 7 steps for biblical interpretations. And when you're talking, I'm thinking this is what you're talking about, wanting to do, kind of, if I'm understanding right, like observations, going through here and breaking it down.
Well, I'm going to use a different format, but you're already into the methodology.
So I'm right. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm on the same line as you are, because my
Sure.
brain.
Anything you've done before will help. It's just, I'm going to introduce some unique stuff, and
Okay.
when you get done with the class, you go, okay, that works for there, that doesn't.
Yeah.
What am I
And
going
that
to
feels
do?
like, it's like, this is like going through the Bible, this is actually using the Bible only. And
This sounds like more you're doing textual study.
right, I know.
Yeah,
And
we're
that's what it
going to
is.
step back and do the thinking about writing a paper that says, okay, now I've got to interpret that passage, and here's that tool. It's gonna
Yeah.
help you with that.
So this is just to show you, this is just a brief of my books I have for.
In Logos.
In Logos.
What level do you have? Do you have
silver, the.
I got it. I had never figured out how to tell what level I have.
You just buy the book. I got into it at last 3, and then upgraded 4. I think I've got 7 on my computer. I just haven't
10
used it as much.
10 is phenomenal. I started out with 9. I started out with 9 free. I got the free one from just because one of my professors, Chris Pauls, he's like, Logos is what he uses, and he swores up and down by it. I'm like, okay. So I went in and found it, and like was starting buying books. Like I've added the Book of Enoch. And if you've ever read the Book of Enoch, it is phenomenal reading. And so he showed me how to buy them and then add them to my Logos. But
I get the flyers all the time.
give this book. Oh,
Buy
yes.
this big series.
Yes. Well, my commentary series, I've got. If you're talking about commentaries, this is my favorite one here, the Expositors.
Yeah.
Expositors Bible Commentary.
That's my favorite.
I love that series.
It's a good basic. Get you going.
Yeah, because that was Chris Paul too.
Yeah.
That was 300 and something.
Yeah. You get to the whole thing.
Oh. So little man sleeping good, huh?
What is it?
I said little man sleeping good, huh?
Really good.
How's mama being here? She doing okay?
Yes, yeah. So, yeah. So we have, 2 classes on the side. So
Yeah.
I can be with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get that, man. You can't wear that here. You can't wear that here. I'm just kidding.
So this is a Kansas, right?
K-State, yeah. Manhattan.
Yeah.
I was joking you because you're in Mizzou territory here.
I'm living in Kansas.
I know, but you're still in Mizzou territory.
Missouri territory.
That's good. For the 20th Street Parade, they built a really nice apartment complex. They put a fence up all the way under the bridge for the manufacturer. They didn't want to homeless people there. So they're not allowed to be there anymore. They came and picked it once. I was there one time and we had, they put up an actual wrought iron fence under where the bridge is because they didn't want people to meet. So we met in the parking lot next door. Well, then the owner of that parking lot either. So then obviously we had to move from there, but they meet down by where like the city market is. There's it's not a camp there or anything, but they meet there. And it's pretty consistent on Monday evening. I got some friends who go down there. I went down there a few times. But yeah, there's as much more of they hand out food. They don't do a lot of one-on-one. It's more they do a gospel presentation as they're handing out. It's a little bit different. I've done the one-on-one down in Florida whenever we lived there for 3 years. We did it. We had to protocol, what we should do. But same thing, we all.
It's gonna cool off tonight.
Oh, yeah. So, Dr. Das, I have
Yes, sir.
Questions concerning assignments in general. So you might take longer to explain this to me. So, I will ask.
Is it a language? Issue? Am I using words that you go, slow down?
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. All right, please. Stop us. Really, don't worry about the time that I help us all communicate, because they all can, maybe if I don't get it, he's really saying this, Dr. Is there a question you're asking
Yes.
right now?
No. I will ask. Yeah.
All right,
I
good.
think it might take
That's okay. We'll do that. We'll do that. Let's go.
for me to understand.
Yes, please, please. When I was in Uganda, and most of the people, they don't know English, but for some of them, it's like a third language, English. And a couple of them is like their fourth language. There were 3 students right down front in the class. There were like 15 in the class, and they were all from Rwanda. And Olivier, over in the corner, he gave me this funny look at once in a while. I go, do you understand what I just said? And I saw it on one of the quizzes I gave. They just sat there and why? It's just a little short quiz. Why are you taking so long? And it's because they didn't understand the words. I used too big words. So I felt real bad. You know, I want to make sure I might want to make sure they're connecting. So I feel bad for them. So please ask me. I'm more than willing to help. I'm more than glad to help out.
I work from like 6 o'clock in the morning until like 3 o'clock. So my mornings are pretty shy for me.
What did I do? All right, everybody's back. Let me show you a syllabus. Who did this? John Huxman, J.D. Huxman, back in 2014. This is for his thesis. As I mentioned, the process that this is used in, you get in the class thesis, RT615, and we give you a form and you fill it out. It's electronic, or you could even write on it. You write in your topic, you write a little précis, and then you attach a 3-page bibliography at the bottom of that. Now, you don't write this down. It's just what the process is. And you come back with that, go to the dean of the seminary, and so I look at it and say, okay, assign an advisor and then first reader, and put that on the form too for the person. And then the advisor sits down and talks with you, or the faculty sits and decides is it a good study. But then the advisor will talk to the student and say, hey, go have at it, bring me your syllabus. And this is what he presents back after doing the initial research and writing. And then from there, then you go back and write chapters 1 and 2, and you turn those in, 3, 4, and 5, and turn those in, and then you come back with. And so I'm talking about a process after submitting a syllabus of 6 to 8 months of writing, rewriting, while you're taking other classes, right? That's normally what goes on here. So this is what he's turning in after filling out that initial form, a month or 2, and coming back with this product. Let's see if I can get it a little smaller. You can see it like a piece of paper. And this is what I want you to, your final product, your complete syllabus. There's a format here that we're going to introduce to you. I'm going to give you a template so you can fill it out
With issues and everything else on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does have better instructions for you, to do that. Then it's going to have a contents page. Doesn't say table of contents, it's contents. Any paper over 20 pages should have a contents page. So if you don't ever write a thesis here at Calvary, but you write a long paper for somebody in one theology class, he might say, you got a 30-page paper, 25-page paper, give me a contents page with it. So it's going to look like this. There's the title of the chapter and then the subheadings. This is not a prose outline. Prose outline would say chapter 1, and you'd have a paragraph here, because you're just talking to yourself. What I think I'm going to cover here. This is the end. We're actually putting that one together. All right, now you're going to start writing. Notice a big margin. There's a formatting question here. When it comes to papers, we're going to give you instructions for a specific way to write the chapter title there, subtitle, and then you're laying it out. The leading body paragraphs, that's what you're seeing here, just in this first section. And it goes down a little long. There, to about 3 pages. Now he's in his next section. It's just of chapter 1. Usually the first chapter in a syllabus is going to be the list. Where are we at? We're at page 5. Notice it starts at 1.
Your title page, your contents page doesn't have a page number. This is one, there's two, second page. So we gotta deal with formatting. Okay, we get somebody else. Okay, we'll go through the, in a page document. And then include the bibliography too. So you got 35, 40 pages. So what should you have? About 5, 6, 7 pages to introduction. So this is getting close because the introduction really lays out a lot. So here's chapter 2. The blank page you ended up with. Chapter 2. You'd write this first leading body. Notice it's less than 1 page. Oh, that's all right. There's no magic to it, no specifics. But this section lays out what you're going to do in the chapter, what the leading body assignment's about. And then you're just going to skip over the rest of it because you're not writing the rest of it yet. So here's the second chapter. What we got? We're up to 3 or 4 pages there. Now here's third one. Ooh, now we're getting sparse in his syllabus. I think he should have written a little bit more there, but I sort of know where he's going. You know, anyway. 1 page, because it's fairly technical what he's doing there. A little longer here is chapter 4. All right, so where are we up to here? We're at page, and the conclusion is summation, chapter 5 is summation and recommendation for further research usually. And so we're up to, I don't have a page number. Yeah, 15. So there's a 15-page body. So he did about what, this is what I'm going to ask you all to do.
Okay.
So it's not a full paper.
And it doesn't have every page,
No,
or every
No.
line of every page. Like 1 page doesn't have to be full.
no, it's whatever it takes.
Right, yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, if you end up with
Yeah, we'll slide.
3 sentences at the top, that's it. And then here's your bibliography. You're going to add, you're going to do your initial bibliography, and I've got just specific numbers of different kinds of resources to get you out there researching different kinds of resources. But then as you're doing your research, this class and this paper, you're going to start adding some other sources that you see, oh, good, I'll add those in there. And so you'll end up with more than what I'm asking you for your assignment, different kinds of resources, you're going to title them. And so notice he's got fairly good, this is just his syllabus. Then when he actually does his research, he's going to add to it beyond that. That's syllabus. That's the final product. Then we get together and talk about it. You know, you're going to say, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm going to research. Pardon?
A lot better than what I was thinking.
When it comes to,
But that's, yeah, I was looking a lot worse, trust me.
it's not as bad. Relief. Cool. All right, now I'm gonna get us. Sean, help me again if you're still online. Is this seen in Teams? Right. Sure again.
Sorry.
Good, good, good. Now,
It's just like it's, okay, now it's seen like that, so.
just work. You don't have to stand up here and do it. Oh, it does. Good, good, good. All right, I got a PowerPoint with it. I think I needed to use something else. I'm just going to use PowerPoint here. The PowerPoint slides are in Canvas. There's no test or quiz on this. But if you get a little confused about, I don't have a handout of the PowerPoints. Rather, I'm just going to do talk around the PowerPoint slides to get you thinking about it. Now, would you want to take notes? I'm thinking out loud. You know, should I be taking notes of this? Yes, no. You know, you get through Turabian, I think hopefully it makes sense. I'm trying to just give you a big picture here of what we're doing. In a sense, it's going to introduce the assignments, make sure you understand those. But I took this material that I'm lecturing from another volume that these people put together about research. And it's built, it's not word for word in the back section here. No, it's the front section. I said it was the back. It's the front section. Research and writing, this first section. So it's the other book's a lot more detail than what I'm going to cover here. But this is what I'm going to cover. So you have everything. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And then you have the notes if you want to come back and just think through how to do it. The important part is getting understanding of what is he asking me to do for the assignment. Really what we're trying to lay out. But let's talk about research. A quote from the crafting, crafting's in the title. Remember, they craft the research. You see the title here. Research is, in fact, the world's biggest industry. Now, we don't think about it, but think what you do in research, and I'm talking about it public, but that's what you need to think of when you're writing for somebody or something. Those who can't well or elevate that of others will find themselves sidelined in a world increasingly dependent on sound ideas based on good information produced by trustworthy inquiry and presented clearly and accurately. And I just laid out what the product is that we want to end up with as we do our writing. And of course, it's about research methods. So what are the methods? But now let's talk about the whole product, though, and break through that last sentence. We're dependent on sound ideas. Oh, there's my topic. Is that a good idea? Is it too broad, too narrow? Is it too nebulous? So it's a sound idea based on good information. I went out and found credible evidence, resources, documents, my own personal research, interviews, a lot of things you do to get good information produced by trustworthy inquiry, meaning as I'm reading your material, I trust you as a writer. I trust that you're not blowing smoke at me. You're not twisting the statistics. You're credible. It's a good term when you think of trusting somebody. And then presented clearly and accurately, meaning I didn't fall asleep while I was reading it. It was boring. It was disjointed. You don't use punctuation right. All those things are involved, but that's important when it comes to writing. Now, English is what language for you? Second, third? Second. And you feel real comfortable? I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. I've noticed something through the years, people from different ethnic backgrounds or cultural contexts, use English a little differently, or either there or maybe the language connection there. So, we try to be gracious when people come from a different language background. So help me to understand what you're dealing with. All right, research, researchers, and readers is the section. What's research? In the broadest sense, we do research whenever we gather information to answer a problem, or answer a question that solves a problem. All right, I got a problem. I need to find a head gasket for my 65 Ford Mustang. What would I do? Google it. Yeah. All right, that's research, right? I mean, you're going to try to find a place that has the part, you're going to call them up and see if they have that exact one. They're looking at Yellow Pages. We don't have those anymore. My notes say that. You're curious. You read in the newspaper about this fish. Did you see that? They had and I didn't read the article. They found some 3,000-year-old fish. What I'm trying to say, it's in the rocks. You see it?
Fossilized.
It's a fossil, yeah. And you say, wow, I've never heard about that. What would you do? Well, again, search of some form to see if it, where does the article take you? Maybe the article has some source information at the bottom, or maybe it was just properly written. And it's got the little hyperlinks in it, maybe to another article. But you're doing research. Okay. Why write it up? Well, why would you want to write down the research? Well, remember, where do I go? I'm going to go to 3 different places and find out where the cheapest head gasket is. All right, that's simple writing up. But maybe, I'm sort of interested in that. I want to share that with the grandkids about that fish. Being a Sunday teacher, and having gone to Israel. Israel is, if you ever go to Israel, it'll open the preaching series. So go everybody. Because when I see a headline about archaeological find, I'm always putting it in a context of where it is in Israel. Yeah, I didn't go everywhere, but a few places that I'm just fascinated with it. But we want to remember where the different, I'm going to write it down because I want to remember where the different places to think about the head gasket. I want to understand, meaning, like I was just saying, what's one of the latest things? The digging around the Temple Mount and the aqueduct we found. The neatest thing, we were there in 2019, my wife and I, one of those bucket list things, I always want to go. So we went to Israel, and we came out through Hezekiah's tunnel there in the city of David. And you come to what you used to think was the Pool of Siloam. You know, it's just it's down a deep pit type place. You know, it's, stone walls and everything, but it's not the Pool of Siloam. You go up the stairs and over the hill, and we went down and sat on this terrace steps, and they were old stones we're sitting on to change our shoes that got wet in the water. And our guide came to us and said, "This is the Pool of Siloam." And they were just opening it up. They were building the place where you'd come in as a visitor, and then right over the hill, I didn't realize it was the entrance to that pilgrim's pathway. We didn't go up there, and that's not yet open. So I hear about these, and I'm doing my research because I'm fascinated. So you want to understand, to see patterns. And another reason why we write it out is to test our thinking. What did I do? I shut it off. You just say, I don't click it. Thank you, Sean. To test our thinking. It's true. It's either through the pen and on the paper, or it's through the fingertips on the computer. You know, when you actually put it down, you can start manipulating and thinking about it, processing and organizing it, whether it's teaching music. So when you're thinking of the class context, there's a number of reasons why we want to write it out. In short, we put our research and writing to remember more accurately, to understand better, and to evaluate what we think more objectively. But why put it in a form paper?
I would imagine for your profession, that's a key thing, is for the people to actually read it and have the substance for later on. It's good to prove it.
And that's the question I'm wondering. You're saying, we were saying, okay, maybe we never do this kind of writing, but where would you want to record something that you're doing? Maybe you get down the road, you do it, you're in the pasture. Oh, I'm going to have a lot of sermons. It's not in the format that we're doing here. But do you, the pastor, ever want to write for, maybe there's I'm in the IFCA, the voice magazine. Yeah, and even there, we encourage them to use an academic style. When you're written for the voice, do that. Richard Barton, do it.
Yeah.
Most important reason for learning to write in ways readers expect is that when you write for others, you demand more of yourself than when you write for yourself alone. Do you hear what I'm arguing for? Always argue with an audience in view, even though nobody might ever read it. Yeah, we can write journals, and it's just for me, and it's private. Okay, I understand that. Just squirrel away and burn it before you die, type thing is what you want to do. But putting it in a full setting, writing for other people, really helps you with your refinement of your thinking. By the time you fix your ideas in writing, they're so familiar with you that you don't need help to see them for what you want them to be, but for what they really are. You'll understand your own work better when you try to anticipate your readers' inevitable and critical questions, such as, how have you evaluated your evidence? Why do you think it's relevant? Conclusions you came to, or the process, or the reasons. What ideas have you considered but rejected? If you come to your conclusion, we sometimes talk about that. Writing is thinking. It's putting it together. I didn't put that fourth one up there. It's a thinking with and for readers. So I'm encouraging the course, we would encourage her, if Carrie, as you're doing writing, have an audience in view. Yes, the professor.